No, but I really have to crap.
Okay.
I'm down to my last snooze.
There we go. Yeah, I found a shop in San Diego that carries that General Snooze.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the only place in San Diego, and I was talking to the guy, and he's like, I don't know why this is so popular. I don't know why people keep coming in to buy it. I was like, you're the only place in San Diego that carries it.
Right.
That's why people keep buying it.
They just got a free plug right at the beginning of the video.
Yeah, sure.
General Snooze.
General Snooze.
I just need to come up with a better name.
Yes.
Hey, happy birthday, Tony.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of VCC Live. This is episode 39. Tonight, we're talking about Gott Lieb.
Sorry.
Raise the age.
Sorry, I promise I vape.
Vaping. Do you even vape, bro? And what's it like to vape? We got a couple articles that I found today and some stuff that people have been sending me and asking me questions about we're going to talk about today. We got Jay with us today, Nick with us today, Matt not with us today. He's had other obligations. Matt's going to be like a permanent co-host / guest host whenever he's available to come joining us. But he's got stuff going on, so he couldn't be with us today. Let me jump over to the live, make sure we're looking okay. Yeah, we are cool.
It's okay. I will be your Andy Richter.
Very cool. But you'll have to change your name so it's not copyright. We'll call you Andy Sphincter.
That's amazing. That's even better.
I don't get it.
We appreciate you guys turning out to watch tonight. Make sure you hit the like button and stuff like that. And Jay, what's been going on, man?
Nothing. Letting my joints heal. It's been a rough week.
Was that a 420 reference?
No, I don't. I still don't smoke dope. Sorry, it's legal here, and I still don't smoke it. What's
no
wrong
dubage.
No dubage for the dude.
No dubage. Got fiddly shit, but no dubage. Nick,
I don't like those fiddle toys either.
that's because you don't use dubage.
Fidget toys. What do they call those things?
Fidget spinners.
Spinners?
Spinners. Yeah.
I haven't
whatever.
tried one yet, but I want to.
These?
Whoa. Whoa. That's intriguing. Do it again. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I don't know if I can do it again. Oh, yeah, there it is. Ooh, what?
I want to touch that.
Oh, you stopped it, Jay.
Damn it, Andy Sphincter. Nick, what's going on, man?
Nothing. Just really enjoying the Andy Sphincter situation that we got going this week. That's hilarious. No, nothing. Just, it's the same stuff. Today was vlog day, so the vlog is up. We just recorded the podcast. We talked all about Star Wars. Business as usual. I'm trying to get back into my normal groove as much as I can before I have to leave again for the next event.
What's your podcast called?
The Culture of Clouds podcast.
The culture. Oh, I'm supposed to know that.
Yeah.
The Culture of Clouds podcast.
With Ruby
and
Roo.
Ruby. Yeah, with me and Ruby. It's a, obviously it's a vaping podcast because it's the name Culture of Clouds podcast. But our main topics are always rotating. So sometimes we're talking about vapey topics like what's our favorite RDAs and stuff. And then other times we do lots of non-vape topics. Like this week is going to be Star Wars because of the new Star Wars trailer. We've done episodes like on The Office in the past. We've done other Star Wars episodes. We did one for episode 7, and then we did another podcast for Star Wars when Rogue One came out. And so, we like talking about Star Wars and nerdy stuff. So this week is all about Star Wars. So that was really super fun.
Yeah, I'm going to listen to all the Star Wars ones.
Yeah, you definitely should. You definitely should. This newest one, I don't want to jinx it, but I feel like this newest one we did is like our best episode we've ever done. It was just really good. Yeah, super good. Culture of Clouds. Check it out.
CultureClouds.com?
CultureClouds.com. It's
cool.
on SoundCloud and iTunes as well.
Very
Is
cool.
it Clouds with a Z?
No. It's Clouds, like Clouds Bro Clouds.
Yeah, Culture of Clouds. With an E?
Z.
Oh, Clouds.
Clouds.
No.
A K and
We
a
use
Z.
the more traditional S instead of the Vapor Z.
The more traditional S.
Yeah.
The more
traditional
correct
S
S.
sound.
Well, we had some good developments this week for VCCT. I've been working on that. That's what I've been working on. Not that you guys asked, but so Kevin, how's your week been? Let me tell you.
Yeah.
I'll go over to the full monitor real quick here. So I was talking to Tom from Vapor Beast, and you guys can see here that the Vaping Convention Circuit Tampa event taking place in June. We got co-presenters on board of Vapor Beast and Vapor Shark, so we are very excited about that. People have been saying for the past several events, it's a lot of juice. It's a lot of juice, and I like having the juice vendors there. It gives people a variety. But
one thing we're lacking
I know.
is variety in e-liquid.
Well, I mean, the best way, in my opinion, to get smokers off of combustible tobacco is to find something that they're going to like initially.
Yeah, you're right.
And so if you have hundreds of options for them to choose from at a vape event, they're going to find something they like. But I did notice a dwindling, hardware issue. There was not as many hardware vendors and stuff, but having Vapor Beast and Vapor Shark there, I think is going to pull some more in. But they both of those are huge in the United States, and they have accessibility to a lot of products. So I think we're going to have a really good selection there for the people who turn out. For smokers that come in, they'll certainly be able to find something that they like. And you just saw Ruby's face flash up there. Matt and Vanessa from Suck My Mod. Vape Magazine also came on as our official media partner, so that's pretty cool. Saw Nick on their latest cover. That was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
And then, of course, Moon Mountain and Vape are our diamond sponsors for right now, and we have more people coming on board. So that was pretty much my week, and I'm also working on Breathe Magazine, getting that first issue out. I think we're going to switch formats on that, at least for the first issue for now, until we can get more advertisers and stuff. But more to come on that probably within the next week or so. We'll have more information on that out. But yeah, that's what I've been up to.
Cool.
And so the first thing that we're going to talk about tonight, I don't know if you guys saw this. A couple people have been messaging me about this. I looked it up and I found some information out on it. I think there was a little bit of misunderstanding, but we'll go back over again to the full monitor real quick here. And there was an article, several articles, but this one I found was in Bloomberg. It says vaping venture poses potential conflict for Trump's FDA nominee. So the FDA nominee is Scott Gottlieb. He's a doctor, and apparently he worked with the Bush administration also at the FDA, and he's President Trump's pick to head the FDA. And I guess at some point for a year period, I'm not going to read the whole thing, I'll just cover through what I read about it. From March 2015 to May 2016, Gottlieb was director of Cure Corp, a Charlotte, North Carolina-based firm that distributes e-juices and vape pens and coffee house-style lounges known as vaporiums. He had a financial interest and everything. So basically the question that I've been getting was people were saying, oh, he's going to have to recuse himself, and they said he's going to have to recuse himself for a year if he gets it confirmed or whatever. That's not what I read here, and I'll read what I read here. It says, if confirmed, Dr. Gottlieb will undertake the duties of the FDA commissioner impartially and in the best interest of the American people. This is some guy at some firm who's anti-vaping. The Office of Government Ethics and the career ethics officials at the Department of Health and Human Services have certified that he is in compliance with all applicable laws and regulations. He will continue to follow these high ethics standards and this administration's ethics pledge throughout his public service. So they had said, the questions I were getting was, is he going to have to recuse himself for a year? It says, Gottlieb promised in his filing approved by the Office of Government Ethics that in addition to selling his shares, he would recuse himself from any matters concerning Cure for 1 year from the time he resigned from the board, a period that expires next month. Wilmore said that he should go further and abstain from any decision-making involving vaping rules for at least a year from the time he sells his stake in Cure. So this guy, Wilmore, is a spokesman for Washington-based Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids, and he's obviously trying to get Gottlieb to extend his recusal period for a year from the time he sells his shares, which would start basically within the next month, probably, if he is confirmed and sells his shares in Cure. He said that Gottlieb said that he would recuse himself for a year after he was not on the board anymore, which would be next month in May. So I think that seems reasonable, and if it was accepted by the ethics committee, then why not?
So it will have been a year.
It will have been
next
a year
month?
next month.
Okay.
But the guy from Tobacco Free Kids is saying no, he should extend it for a year from the time that he sells his.
Well, that's because he wants to sell more tobacco.
Right. He wants to keep his job by fear mongering. Let's keep the kids off tobacco. But I didn't know if you guys had seen that or heard anything about that. What are your thoughts on the?
I saw headlines. I saw the headlines. I didn't have time to read the actual content, so I'm glad you read it here because it is a little more, encouraging. The headlines were making it sound like he said he would recuse himself for a year from making any sort of regulatory decisions pertaining to e-cigarettes, which I thought was a death nail. But according to what you just read, it's certainly not all that bad. We can certainly wait a month. Waiting a year would destroy us, because
I told one of the people that had messaged me this today, Brian Coe, and he was saying he's not from the U.S., so he doesn't really fully understand how the system here works. But I said, first and foremost, I don't think anyone in the vaping industry is hanging their hats on the person who's going to replace Zeller to save the vaping industry. It's going to have to come from somewhere higher than that, either at the executive level, like his bosses, Health and Human Services, possibly, very very
still,
narrow chance. But
hope is hope, and I'd like to see more hope rather than less.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good idea. It's good to have someone in that position who is obviously pro vaping than someone who's dead set against it and used to work for Big Pharma and like Mitch Zeller. But at the same time, I don't think he's going to come in gangbusters and change shit immediately. I think our best hope still is HR 1136 and possibly lawsuits. But even if anyone were to make some change, I mean, he could certainly have the ear of the president, obviously, and influential people in Congress. So I think that would be a good thing, good aspect of it. But
rebellions are based on hope.
Solid.
Keep quiet.
Gin Urso, good.
Keep quiet.
Very solid.
Andy Sphincter.
See, I didn't know about any of this, and I also there's a word that I'm not understanding there. It starts with an R. Resending.
Oh, recuse.
What is that word?
Recuse.
Yeah, I don't know what that word means, so I'm kind of confused in this.
Like he will abstain from putting his opinion or putting his or regulatory foot down.
Basically, he says, "I'm going to be
vaping.
Switzerland. I'll be neutral. I'm not going to take part in it."
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know what that word meant, and so he's supposed. Yeah. Okay, so they wanted him to do that for a year, but obviously that's not what the case is going to be.
Well,
right?
He will have done it for a year come this May, but they wanted him to extend it by a year from when he sold his shares, assuming he gets confirmed. So the guy from Tobacco Free Kids wanted him to make it until sometime in 2018.
Oh, okay.
Because they know that by then it's too late and vaping is dead.
So they have no problem having someone who used to work for Big Pharma being the head of the FDA, but because this guy had a vested interest in a vape company and he's already selling it.
Right.
Well, who do you think?
I mean, come on.
Who do you think pays tobacco-free kids money?
Yeah,
it's Big Pharma, right?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, that's so transparent. That should be so transparent to anybody reading that article.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, there were a couple of different articles. I think some weren't written as clearly. So this one, Bloomberg explained it a little bit better. And again, the links I'll put in the replay, guys. If you want to click it and read the whole article yourself, you can do that and share it around. But I thought it was great whenever I heard that he was being nominated. He's obviously an MD, and he obviously supports vaping in the vaping industry. He's he had at some point in the past couple of years an interest in it. So at least he's a little more open-minded than the bullshit we've been dealing with for the last 7 or 8 years.
Yeah. Well, crazy.
Anyone in the chat have any questions about that? Have you heard about Scott Gottlieb? Did you know he was nominated?
Yeah, a lot of good comments. Rob says it's like having nukes on submarines, but not 18650 batteries.
Oh, yeah, because of the Navy thing?
We're talking about that here shortly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can actually go into that one next if you want to. we'll go in the order that I had them in, I guess. The next one, I found this article and I thought it was really well done, so we're going to talk about it for a second. And again, not going to read the whole thing, but we'll go over points of it. There's an article on WashingtonExaminer.com. It says, beware of the unintended consequences of raising the legal vaping age. Efforts to stop young people vaping may backfire and lead to an increase in youth cigarette smoking, according to a new working paper. Published in the National Bureau of Economic Research, the study suggests laws banning under 18s from buying e-cigarettes pushes the youth towards smoking conventional cigarettes. According to the study's authors, minimum legal state sale ages increase the cost of obtaining e-cigarettes as teens have to spend more time and effort obtaining vapor products or paying a third party extra to buy them for them. It says, indeed, high schoolers can often find regular cigarettes easier to obtain than e-cigarettes, even though the prices in stores for regular smokes is actually higher. The study findings show that MLSA laws increase youth smoking participation by 0.7 to 1.4 percentage points. I'm trying to find some of the relevant stuff here. In sum, results from our study suggest that it is unclear if e-cigarette MLSA laws have a positive impact on public health, the authors conclude. The paper follows 3 previous studies that examined the effect of MLSA laws on teen smoking. 2 of the previous 3 studies found these laws led to an increase in teen smoking, while 1 found the reverse. And then I'll skip down to the part talking about e-cigarettes. It says, the study emphasizes the need for more research into the effect of MLSA laws, but as the evidence stands, it would be foolhardy for legislators to jump the gun and treat e-cigarettes just as they would conventional tobacco and limit the opportunities for young people to switch to a vastly safer product by raising the age of purchase to 21. So this was actually a pretty positive article, I thought, and some very well thought out points were made in it. Again, I'll post the link. But what do you guys? Have you heard? I mean, we've talked about it before, but I haven't actually seen anything in print about that.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. It's common sense. It makes sense that if you're telling, first of all, teenagers have been smoking cigarettes for decades and decades and decades. You can get them. There's no age deterrent that's going to work. But if you're going to make it harder for them to get vapor products in their 18 to 21 range, you're going to make it harder or impossible for them to get vapor products. They can find people to buy cigarettes for them, and they're going to. So the point of the article was, and the study was, why would you want to push the youth towards smoking combustible tobacco cigarettes when there's obviously a healthier alternative available to them in vaping?
Yes, that's a really good argument. That I never really thought about, but I had never really thought about that before. I just thought, I assumed raising the age. This is the first time that raising the age in regards to vaping has ever been a thing, or setting the age for vaping has ever been a thing. And so I'm sure they have data on how it works for traditional tobacco cigarettes, but we have not real information on how it would work for vapor products, so I basically I'm saying I don't know in a very long way.
No, and that's I think that's the correct answer. That's absolutely the correct answer. We don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. We just went to 18 last year?
Yeah.
So
I mean, officially, last year.
So right, even though 90% of the industry was already doing that anyway.
Right.
So how would raising the age affect it, especially without the benefit of a grandfather date?
Right.
Yeah.
That's especially detrimental. I mean, if you just cut people off, between 18 and 21 from vapor products, they're gonna go back to sticks.
Yeah.
Yep. Path of least resistance. If they were getting cigarettes as teenagers, what makes you think they're not going to get them in the 18 to 21 range? They're certainly going to be able to.
And that was an argument back in the day when I was in junior high when it happened, but back when they raised the drinking age from 18 to 21, people are still going to start drinking at 15.
Yeah.
It's going to cost them a little extra money.
Right.
That's exactly what Vapors Ale said in the chat. He said, did being under 21 prevent anyone here from drinking disgusting liquor mixed together at 16?
Nope.
Disgusting liquor.
Yeah, well, when you're 16, you don't know. And I mean, I did that same thing. I used to make cocktails that consisted of the most awful ingredients ever, and I would drink it,
Yeah.
And I was really young.
Your parents' Cointreau and Sprite or something.
Yeah, exactly. I would mix like margarita mix and whiskey all the time.
Oh,
Because I thought it was so good and like it's so bad. But yeah, dude, I was 15, I think, maybe even younger when I first had my first drink.
Yeah, I was probably 13 when I had my first beer, and I don't think I probably didn't get drunk until probably 15 or 16.
Yeah. I was right around 15 when I first got drunk, and I just did it accidentally, and I didn't know what I was feeling, and I was like, I guess this is what drunk is.
Why is my mouth numb?
Yeah, good to know. Why? Yeah, exactly. Why did my lips go numb? This is good to know. It's good life experience.
Yeah, it's pretty much. I mean, so the argument's the same. I mean, well, what you're saying is, if you had access to better alcohol at 15, you would have drank it. But I mean, the argument here is it doesn't make sense to push that age range to continue killing themselves with combustible tobacco when vaping products are around them. And I thought that made a lot of sense, and I thought it was worth mentioning. So,
right.
And now we have the Navy. Let's go.
Creme de menthe with whiskey. No.
Yeah, nice one, Ed.
No. That's awesome that you drank that, but no.
So I saw a lot of articles on this, and I figured I would take the one that came actually from the Navy Times itself. Navy bans e-cigarettes fleet-wide. The vaping lamp is out throughout the fleet. The Navy has banned electronic cigarettes and vaping devices throughout the fleet, citing concerns that the battery-powered gadgets can explode and injure sailors. The new rule, quote-unquote, suspends the use, possession, storage, and charging of electronic nicotine delivery systems aboard ships, submarines, aircrafts, boats, craft, and heavy equipment, according to a Navy press release Friday. The prohibition applies to sailors, Marines, military sea lift, command civilians, and any personnel working on or visiting those units. This new policy is in response to continued reports of explosions of electronic nicotine delivery devices due to the overheating of lithium-ion batteries, the release said. Multiple sailors have suffered serious injuries from these devices, to include first and second-degree burns and facial disfigurement. In these cases, injuries resulted from battery explosions during end-use, charging, replacement, or inadvertent contact with a metal object while transporting. The move was announced internally Friday in a joint message from Commander U.S. Fleet Forces and Commander U.S. Pacific Fleet. So this is a temporary suspension from what I've gathered. Again, I don't want to read the whole thing, but they're talking about how batteries have exploded and knocked people's teeth out and caused fires and a bunch of different things on Navy vessels. It does not apply to land-based Navy facilities, I guess, just anything in the air or at sea. I mean, I guess I agree with like the comment that was in chat a little while ago. No vaping devices on board, but we have nuclear. I don't know. I guess they have protocols for keeping those devices and stuff safe, but
right.
I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think about that? I kind of have mixed thoughts on it. I mean,
yeah, I kind of have mixed thoughts too. Is this a fight we want to really go after? Yeah, it's kind of.
I think they have legitimate concerns. I mean, if you're
buying, I guess my main thing is all right. Well, how many cell phones have exploded? You know, I mean, it's the same old argument. How many cell phones have exploded? How many laptops have exploded on these submarines? Right. You know, I mean, it's the same technology. It's the same danger. You know, mechs are becoming less and less frequently used, especially among newer vapors. You know, there's more and more regulated mods out there that are much safer. So they very well may be going on old data. So I'm glad to see that it's a temporary ban. So maybe they will revisit it at some point. But again, I don't know. It's not something I'm going to get all riled up about. I mean, you're on a submarine. You know, you don't want to be having cloud comps in a fucking sub while you're on a mission, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was in the same boat. At first, I was kind of...
Pun intended.
Like, oh, yeah, hey. Yeah. That's it. End the show. We can't get... That's the high note.
You were in the same boat?
We're not going to get any funnier than that. I was the same way. In fact, I mentioned this in the vlog that went up today. And then I'm going to read this comment that I got on that video from a guy named H. Nicholas, if that's okay. It's a touch long, but It's a really good comment in regards to this. He left a comment and said, "Thank you for your videos, Nick. I am a 23-year Navy veteran with the submarine force. I'm retired, and yes, I vape. I smoked for 35 years, including abroad, and I'm a huge supporter of vaping now. I was able to quit smoking because of vaping, and I will always be grateful for it. In regards to the Navy banning vaping, something to consider is casualty control. If there is a fire, the first thing that a smoker would do is put their cigarettes and their lighter in their pocket and run to the damage control station to put out the fire. This may include putting on PPE or firefighting ensemble, FFE, running to the fire with hoses and basically putting out the fire." He says, "Now imagine that same situation and you have a dual 18650 mod or LiPo or whatever. Do you really want your mod / batteries getting wet or possibly damaged in your pocket? You wouldn't have time to worry about the batteries, to take them out of your mod, to put them in plastic cases and leave them lying around the ship, because they become a different type of hazard. They could fall, break, get caught in suction hoses, being used to put out the fire, become a tripping, slipping hazard, and many other situations. The Navy is foremost concerned about the safety of their personnel aboard the ship in a closed environment. Damage control is paramount in the minds of leadership, because any ship could come under fire from the enemy without warning at any time, and one mistake from anyone could lose the entire ship and cost not just the crew's lives, but civilian lives as well. If that ship is defending one of our harbors or assets overseas, in my opinion, the extreme situations that can be experienced without warning aboard a ship do not really warrant the ban. If the ship goes into battle or there is a casualty aboard the ship, the sailor should not be thinking about securing their loose batteries or emptying their mods. They should be thinking about combating the casualty. This is only my humble opinion. No, I do not like the ban, but I do understand it." And that's a guy that served for 23 years in the submarine force.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with his last
Yeah,
statement.
I get it. That makes sense. I did that for 23 years. The ban makes sense.
Yeah, I agree with his last statement. I don't agree with allowing them to say. I mean, it doesn't touch on the subject, but are they allowed to still smoke cigarettes? They're just not allowed to use vapor products.
More importantly, are they allowed to carry Bic lighters?
Yeah,
Because
you know what?
That's a stick of dynamite.
I don't know. I just read.
So, but I agree with that. I mean, I'm not gonna like harp on, like Jay said. It's not something I think we really want to get on the Navy's ass about. But I do understand why they're doing it. It's a little bit different circumstances than say the city of Gainesville, the meeting we went to like a year and a half in the city of Gainesville, Florida, where they're saying you can't vape in parks and stuff like that. I don't agree with that. That's not going to affect anyone. But you're on a submarine or a Navy ship or a vessel that that's not your first and foremost objective, is not to vape or smoke cigarettes.
It's not to vape. Right, exactly. And I mean, how awful would it be if we saw a headline later on about, oh, this guy tripped on a box mod and hit a control panel and launched a missile or something, like just something horrible that happened because they allowed, big box mods inside of a Navy ship.
Yeah.
Or if, God forbid, a mod did vent and kill some sailors or something, that would
submarine. Nonetheless,
that would be terrible.
I mean,
so yeah, I guess I just wanted to bring it up and discuss it because it's been in the news a lot this past week, and I just don't think it's that big of a deal.
Yeah, it's a good discussion to have, and I think it shows our balance.
Absolutely. Thank you,
yeah,
Jay.
we're good. We're fair and balanced, just like Fox News.
Not anymore. O'Reilly got the stick. Wait a second. Yeah, he's out. So then the last thing that I had, anyone have any comments on that? I mean, I've seen some stuff, but I'm not really reading it. Let's see. I'm going to check it out for a second.
I didn't see anything. I agree with Jay. I don't know if this is a fight that is really worth our time.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Like there's so much going on.
I kind of felt the same way about the airline thing. As far as vaping went, carry-ons is a different story. But as far as vaping went on airlines,
yeah,
that was a fight I was not willing to have because it's silly. Buy a can of snooze.
Yeah, exactly. Just buy a tin of snooze and you'll be good. You don't have to vape.
I didn't really see anything earth-shattering in the comments to talk about, so we're going to go on to the last thing that we had planned to talk about tonight. And this was an article I came across just this afternoon in the Palm Beach Post. It's called "What's It Like to Vape?" This reporter gave it a try. So I'm going to switch over real quick, and I probably will read most of this one just because it was pretty good, his approach to it. And also it brings up a few points that I think that we've talked about before, but we're going to talk about them again until hopefully some people get it through their head. This guy says, I first started smoking cigarettes when I was 12, stealing from my grandmother's purse, Marlboros. It's been a battle against mother nicotine ever since. I've gone years without smoking cigarettes, satiating my tobacco need through cigars, even chewing tobacco. Eventually, though, I would be back smoking coffin nails. Being inherently clumsy, my habit was everywhere to be found, filling ashtrays, lighters in every nook and cranny of the house. My car seats always had burns. He's talking about different things, blah, 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 with smoking. I tried a disposable e-cigarette on a car trip and felt it was so inorganic that it was a non-starter. But after doing a story on the vaping industry last month, I thought I'd give vaping a try as an experiment. Recently, I had moved from my Newport cigarettes to cigarellos, but was now up to 3 a day. And the grief, as any traditional smoker can attest, from family members about the smell was growing deafening. My wife said it was her number one turnoff. Ouch. Now, 2 weeks into vaping, I can tell you that I haven't picked up a traditional tobacco product. I haven't even wanted to smoke a cigarello. My cigars and my humidor have gone untouched. Still, this passion in the making hasn't been without its pitfalls, and it's been quite a learning curve for a 50-year-old someone as clumsy as me. Okay, first of all, I think that's awesome. That's a great testimonial to someone who's been, over 50 and what we talking about 35, 40 years here that he's been addicted to nicotine, and for 2 weeks now he hasn't touched a traditional tobacco product, which is great. This is where it kind of curves, and it kind of pissed me off a little bit, not at his article, not at him, but at the vape shop that he's obviously going to or wherever he's making his purchases there in Palm Beach, Florida. First of all, the safety concerns from health officials. I don't want to read over that because it's bullshit from the health department in Palm Beach. As addressed in my vaping culture story, the warnings are said to be suspicious by the vaping industry, considering health officials in England endorse electronic cigarettes as a much better alternative to smoking traditional tobacco products. And he talks about the ingredients and stuff. Greg Conley from the American Vapor Association says, it does have an antidepressant effect on the smoker, and that is the reason why they're harder to kick than heroin. He's talking about cigarettes. He's talking about the FDA clamping down, so that's good that information is getting out there. And then he says, then there's the learning curve. First off, it's not cheap, at least not to get started. There is the vape, there is the e-juice, there is figuring out what kind of e-juice you like, and purchase of rechargeable batteries. Then there are replacement parts that make the vape work. I've easily spent close to $300 in the last month getting this thing up and running, and I'm still far from perfecting it. But if you are obsessive compulsive type, vaping will fit into your lifestyle. Besides flavor choices, there are many types of vapes and e-cigarettes as there are stars in the sky. Figuring out what apparatus to buy is daunting. This is where it starts pissing me off. I bought an e-cigarette type device that was not to my liking. I thought it would be closest to cigarettes, but didn't fit the bill. I then settled on a vape sold by Smoke AL85 with a tank called a Baby Beast for its efficiency. This is a picture of his setup. This is a new vapor. Anyway, immediately I couldn't figure out how to make it work and had to head back to the store and find out how to set it up. My first embarrassment, but not my last. I bought some tobacco-flavored juice and something called Mr. Brunch, and he's talking about the e-liquid. He said about his
omelet-flavored e-liquid?
He's talking about his e-liquid. He's talking about different flavors that he tried. The liquid is heated by an atomizer, which, guess what, comes in many different sizes and configurations from my device. The atomizer is inside a tank which holds the liquid. The heating element is the coil. Some coils are better for taste, some are better for producing vapor or clouds. The cotton or wick surrounding the coil burns out, and when that happens, the sweet spot you get to your vape evaporates. Like, it tastes awful, basically, is what he's saying. And he goes on to talk about how he's had a struggle with getting up and running, and I think that this is probably at the forefront of where we're losing a lot of smokers who are trying to transition into vaping. They go into these vape shops, and they're selling them these high-wattage devices with Baby Beast and shit on them that with, obviously, with like nicotine. Anyway, it's just something that I think that shops need to work on. They need to have starter devices that are easy for people to understand and comprehend. And they shouldn't be letting customers walk out the door without thorough training on how to use said device. Right. But if you get someone who's not as persistent as this guy, they're going to quit. They're going to give up and go back to smoking cigarettes, and that is not the objective. And I don't think that that's a very good setup for. It's not a very good setup for just judging from the size of the mouthpiece.
the size of the drip tip.
Yeah,
tells me.
That's a
probably
full-on Clouds Bro Cloud setup. The Smoke Tech with the Baby Beast. That is Clouds Bro Clouds.
That's something for a 35-year-old professional who just wants to get off tobacco.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's one of the things that I think we need to really work on at the retail level of the vaping industry. I don't know if it's like that everywhere else, but in the United States for sure. Stop trying to make the biggest dollar amount sale you can get, something that's going to suck juice down so they have to come back and buy juice every couple of days, and get something that's going to work for them to get off of combustible tobacco. And then you've won a customer for life. It's not just someone that's going to make a $100, $200, or $300 purchase and say, fuck this, it doesn't work for me, I'm done, and go back to smoking cigarettes.
Now Brolo brings up a point. He says cigars are thick. So that in and of itself, you would think might mate better with a larger drip tip. But how many cigars do you know are direct lung?
They're not.
They're not.
Zero.
They're not. That's the difference. And how many vape devices have a mouthpiece that thick and are mouth to lung?
Well, I mean, he said in his particular case, he was on Newports and then he went to cigarellos. So that's going to be, I think a mouth to lung.
Yeah, those are still cigarette sized, right?
Yeah, they are.
Cigarellos? Yeah.
So, roughly. Anyway, there are plenty of devices out there. I wish there were more, but there are plenty of devices out there I think that you could get for beginners, and I wish more shops carried them. If he was vaping a 12 milligram out of a mouth-to-lung device like I do, it wouldn't be too much nicotine. But if you're putting a 12 milligram in a Baby Beast, yeah, sure, it's going to be way too much. So,
yeah.
I don't know. Have you guys had any run-ins with any people who you've seen vaping? And I had a run-in. I talked about it before with a guy that was smoking a cigarette and had a vape in his hand, like he was smoking a Marlboro Red 100. And I'm like, "What are you doing, dude? You got a vape right there."
We see that at conventions.
He's like, no smoking allowed. But anyway, he's like, yeah, I bought this and, it was expensive and it really doesn't work for me. So, I still buy cigarettes or whatever. I'm like, so I asked him about his setup and he explained it to me. And it was like a sub-ohm device with a 3 milligram liquid at like 100 watts or something. And I'm like, it's not going to work. I let him try mine. He's like, wow, that's great. That's exactly what I'm looking for. So anyway.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that? I mean, we talked about it before, but I thought the report was good. The story was good. It was good insight for people. And also, it should open up eyes a little bit from stores' perspective to say, it shouldn't be that hard, basically. It shouldn't be that hard to transition to vaping.
No, not at all.
Correct. And it's good. It's good to see, more and more kind of anecdotal stories like that, especially from a first-person perspective. If we can get more journalists who maybe are closet smokers to come out and give it a shot and let folks know how it goes.
Yeah, well,
that could both help the industry, help shops maybe improve their policies a little bit, and obviously let the general public know that we're not big tobacco, we're not evil.
Well, I mean, if you're a smoker though, if you're a smoker and you're reading that article, and you're not a person who likes to deal with hassle or bullshit, or you just want to get your cigarettes and open the pack and smoke. What do you think? How do you think they're going to perceive that? They're
still going to perceive it as too complicated.
Yeah, and I've had that same exact thought recently. When you're in the industry and you're part of it, you don't really see it from that person's point of view. You don't see it from the new smoker's point of view. And even just, I don't know, it was a couple of weeks ago, I was on the Vapor DNA website, which Vapor DNA is a great company, great website. And I was looking through their atomizers and they had like just 13 pages of atomizers with like 25 products on each page. And I was going through there and I was thinking, man, if I was a smoker, I wouldn't know even where to start. Like I wouldn't click on anything. I was instantly overwhelmed because there were, 90 different atomizers on this website that all, we know what they're, for. We can look at the airflow and be like, oh, that's how the airflow is. Oh, that's what the deck looks like. Mm-hmm. But if you have no idea, then they just look like alien objects to you. You know what I mean? You can't look at that and decide and go, yeah, I would like that airflow or I would like that deck. It's just so overwhelming. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I've had friends text me, friends who smoke that text me because they know I'm in vaping, obviously, now for the past couple of years. And they're like, hey, what do you recommend for, like, what should I get? And I'm like, I'll just go take the time and I'll find it on a website that I trust, like Vapor Beast, for instance, and I'll just send them a link. I'll say, here's a link to what you need to get. Exactly. So there might be a link for an atomizer, a link for a device, a link for batteries, a link for a charger, all things that I know work. Because when I send them there, I'm like, hey, go to the website and check it out. And they're like, I have no clue what to pick. Like there's, like you just said, Nick, there are so many things and I don't know what they mean. So I think it's definitely a market opportunity too for some company out there who maybe wants to prepackage some, a complete
you should become an e-cig consultant. I mean, that's kind of what I do when I have a friend who contacts me. Hey, what should I get? I'll say, tell you what, I'll talk to them and find out, what their smoking habits are, all that stuff. And I'll literally just go online. I'll buy them everything they need and I'll invite them over the house because I'm lonely. And I'll show them how to use everything.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Give them a free bottle of e-liquid and they're on their way,
And there's a lot more starter, like mouth to lung starter kits now than there were like a year ago. There's a lot more now.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, it was like if you were using the Nautilus Mini and that's what you used if you did mouth to lung stuff. Like if you wanted something simple and mouth to lung and you'd use the Nautilus Mini and that was it. Yep. There's far more options now than there were even a year ago. And the problem is the majority of people, obviously not Kevin or Jay, the majority of people will move past that pretty quickly. Like they'll get a Nautilus Mini and they'll be using it and they're like, oh, hey, this is great. What's next?
Right.
Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so that's the market that the vapor industry is constantly trying to fill is what's next? Like what's the next thing I can sell you?
And what can I sell you that will burn through juice 90% quicker?
Right. So you have to buy more juice. It's all a conspiracy, man.
It really is.
But yeah, what's next has always been more important than where do I start?
Yeah. And I think we need to get back to where do I start?
That sucks.
For sure. Because even if you're looking at it strictly from a business perspective, there are roughly 40 million smokers still left in the United States. 40 million people who are smoking daily.
Right.
That's a huge market. So I think that should be some incentive for shops who are probably 80% of the time the first point of contact with the consumer is a vape shop, and I think they should have some options that are very simple, that work well. And then let them use that for a couple of months. And then they'll naturally, I think, progress to the what's next level. And that's fine. That's the way it should go. At least by that point, they're off of tobacco for long enough that they don't want to go back to it. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm an anomaly. I've tried the what's next, and I didn't like it. I like what I started with. So that's what I've stuck with. And that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. It's different for everybody.
It's different for everybody. Like some people,
a lot of people.
Some people like try the mouth and lungs and it's too tight. They don't like it. They go directly to mouth to lung. They go directly to the sub-ohm tanks with a lot of airflow and stuff, and that's cool too. Whatever works. But I think that there should be those options. And I haven't actually visited a vape shop to buy vape gear in a while, so I don't So I don't know I've gone to like parties that they've had, openings and stuff, but not for shopping from a consumer perspective. So I think it'd be cool to do maybe just to go drop by some vape shops and tell them, I'm a smoker and see what their pitch would be.
Yeah.
I don't think you could get away with it, Nick, but
you should.
Undercover
try.
Yeah. You could put on a beard and maybe a different hat.
Yeah, we were tossing around the idea of doing undercover vape meet, like shaving and then getting concealer to cover up all my tattoos, and then like not wearing a hat or glasses, and I would just look like a completely different person.
That would
and walk around at a vape meet and try juices and stuff. That would be hilarious.
That would totally work.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think your voice would give you away.
Oh yeah, my voice.
No, all you have to do is like just start mumbling because you're very good at enunciating. So you just have to start like mumbling.
Yeah, just mumbling. And, like try to talk a little higher.
That looks like a good juice. You think I can have that juice?
I like strawberry milk. Strawberry milk's good.
Can you sponsor me?
I might be able to pull it off. We'll see.
So anyway, guys, that's all we had to talk about tonight. We have a few minutes left. We'll talk about anything you want to throw in the chat, or if you guys have anything coming up. Nick, anything interesting that you talked about in your vlogs or anything that you want to tell people about?
No, not really. VCCP or VCC Tampa, Midwest Vapor Expo. I'm not going to make it to Foxwoods, unfortunately. That super bums me out. I know. I feel bad. The only reason I would be going to Foxwoods is to hang out with you and Nick.
Oh,
that's literally it. So if I can find
we can do some FaceTime.
Yeah,
Saturday night.
Just Marco Polo me or FaceTime or something. Like that's the only reason I really want to go to that event is to hang out with you guys, because Jay doesn't come to any events.
He's going to come to Tampa,
and I want to hang out with Jay. So come to Tampa, Jay, so we can hang out.
How much is Kevin paying me to get to Tampa?
I'll give you two wooden nickels, and what was it you said last time?
And a Baby Beast sub-ohm kit. There you go.
I'll give him a Baby Beast, but it's not a sub-ohm kit. Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe if I get laid off, I'll come down.
Oh.
Okay. Well, I hope you get.
That's funny. If I lose my
No,
job
I don't
and
hope
shit,
that.
I'll definitely be down. Yeah, I don't.
But we do need to hang out again, Jay. It's been too long.
Yeah, we definitely do. It's been since Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a while. We'll figure something out.
Yeah.
I'll have a barbecue.
Yeah, I'll just come up for that.
Mm.
We could probably get a cheaper flight.
You can use my grill when you're down in Tampa. You can just barbecue away.
Yeah.
No, I go to Tampa. I'm eating seafood all weekend.
Oh yeah, it's what people say.
Oh yeah, eat the
raw bar, baby.
Clearwater has some great raw bars.
Yeah,
but yeah,
that close to on the Gulf. Hell yeah!
I'm pretty excited with the addition of Vapor Beast and Vapor Shark. I think it's going to definitely inspire interest from companies that were maybe borderline of whether or not they were coming, because both of those, like I said, are huge and they're really great companies. Vapor Beast hasn't been doing a lot of events the last probably year and a half.
Not at all.
Are they coming out with a DNA 75C? I'm kind of curious about that one.
I don't know. Talking about Vapor Shark?
Maybe. Vapor Shark?
Yeah, or whoever. Whoever does the
assuming they
DNA
are.
stuff.
That's the Vapor Shark. I'm not sure.
Because the 75 was awful.
Was it?
Yeah, the DNA 75 is not a great board.
Oh,
It was super limited in what it could do. It couldn't go above 6 volts. And it messed
Brandon
up.
was talking about that. The
with
limit
your
on
battery
the
sag.
the limit on the C, I think, is up to 9.
Oh, okay. I wonder if it's
think.
going to throw 1,000 weak battery warnings, because I could have a battery in there at like 80% and try and hit it at 4 volts, and it would be like weak battery. And I'm like, it's 4 volts off of new. Like, what the hell? It would give me weak battery warnings. So it's whatever. It's no big deal.
Whatevs. Flitz says,
You're over it.
Flitz says, cheers,
Over it.
handsome jerks. What's up, Flitz?
Oh, nice of you to
Flitz.
show up, Flitz.
Hey, what's up,
That's fine. That's fine. Amy wants to know what pillow is on my couch.
Pillow?
Oh, that's Barry Manilow.
What?
That's a really long story to tell, but yeah, it's Barry Manilow. This one? Is that the pillow we're talking about?
It's mulleted Barry Manilow.
It's actually Barry Manilow on a pillow.
Barry Pillow.
We call it Barry Manapillow.
I was going to say Barry Pillow.
Barry Pillow. Barry Manapillow sounds better.
I like
But yeah,
Manapillow.
It's Barry Manilow. Darth Vader and Barry Manilow, because
Good eyes, Amy.
Interesting.
yeah, seriously, I don't think anybody's ever recognized that.
Mooch is saying evening also, late am I.
Yeah,
you're going to have to watch the replay, Mooch, because we're pretty much wrapping up here.
Yeah,
Did you guys ever get together and get the battery tester thing that we talked about last
Yes,
time?
I was just going to bring that up. I have it. It's all packed up. I just haven't made it to the post office yet, and I will hopefully be doing that tomorrow or Saturday. So I'll get it out to you, Mooch, as soon as I can.
All right. Well, I guess that's going to do it
Yeah.
for us. Remember, if you haven't hit that like button down there, take a second to do that now, please, if you would. And I'll put all the links in when I get the video updated, and when the replay gets processed, we'll post the link up on the Facebook page. If you haven't joined that page, by the way, just go to Facebook and search for VCC Live altogether, and we'll add you in there. Just hit join or whatever. I think we have to add them. But yeah, that's about it. Any closing thoughts, Jay?
You don't have to do everything, but
No, you can't steal mine.
You don't have to do anything.
You don't have to do anything. Peace.
You don't have to do anything. You do have to take you have to take frequent naps, and you have to have
keep that brim flat.
Yeah, you don't have to drink coffee in the morning, but you should have at least one bourbon a night.
Yes, good.
That's good advice.
All right.
Wear more flat brimmed hats.
Yeah.
Nick says, keep your brims flat and your clouds cloudy.
Yep, that's what I say. That's my thing.
Sorry, I had to have a vape. All right, guys. Well, I guess we'll see you next week. If you think of anything you want us to talk about, as always, put them in the comments. We usually get some good comments on the when the replay gets up on YouTube. So we appreciate you guys.
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button. Smash it. Smash your pass. Smash. Yeah. So remember, like Jay said, you don't have to do everything, but you do have to do something. Get involved.